Whether you've mastered the basics or you're just getting started in small sailboat racing, the Racing Sailor DVD can help you sail smarter and faster. The Racing Sailor begins with the basics of sailing, so if you can't distinguish starboard from a halyard, don't worry. We cover it all so you won't be left behind.
The rear of the boat is called the stern, but the direction to the rear is called aft. Thus, if you're in the back of the boat, you're in the stern, but if you're walking to the stern, you're moving aft. The part of the boat where you steer and sail from is called the cockpit. If your boat has an inside, this is called the cabin. Underneath the boat is the rudder, which allows you to steer. There will also be a keel or centerboard depending on the size of your boat.
Once you know which way is aft and where to find the mainsail, you'll be ready to move on to the actual workings of the sail. Instead of relying on words and static diagrams, the Racing Sailor offers clear and accurate animations. You'll see exactly how your boat can travel faster than the wind, or sail against the very wind that drives it. This DVD sailing course covers race starts, upwind strategy and tactics, reach tactics, downwind strategy, wind shift management, offensive techniques, mark rounding, and finishing techniques. The Racing Sailor gives you an overview of each part of the race, along with what you need to do during them to succeed. A solid understanding of the way sails work is a big part of what separates awkward amateurs from adept sailors. Because these skills are so difficult to learn from static images and books, skillful sailing has previously been limited to those with years of experience and instruction. Now, the Racing Sailor's breakthrough use of motion-realistic 3D graphics allows any interested student the ability to learn sound sailing principles.
Every sailboat has a wind shadow that extends to leeward, and a wake of turbulent air that extends behind. A tight cover puts your opponent in that area of wind shadow and/or turbulent air. The tight cover will force them to either tack away to clear air, lose speed and distance sailing in dirty air until we're long gone, or fall off and sacrifice position. If we had sailed across our opponent and tacked with more space between us than a tight cover, but we're still trying to keep ourselves between them and the mark, then we would have put them in a loose cover. A loose cover lets you cover your opponent to the mark, but doesn't affect their wind.
Many sailors have heard that a sail is just like an airplane's wing. Using graphical animations, we shed light upon this analogy and demystify how air moves around a sail, and why the shape of a sail affects the amount of power it creates. And then, we show you how to harness this power to sail faster. Sail trim or shape is one of the most important aspects of sailing. Even the smallest boats have half a dozen ways to adjust the shape of your sail. The Racing Sailor graphically illustrates what sail shapes you need in different situations. Never again will you be bobbing around the lake with sails a-luffing while your friends or competitors fly by with a sail full of wind. The Racing Sailor not only teaches you how to sail faster, it teaches strategy and technique. You'll master great starting techniques so you're not chasing the fleet the entire race. You'll also learn to steal wind from your opponents and throw bad air their direction. And of course, you'll also learn to exploit right-of-way and mark rounding rules to gain a competitive advantage. You'll learn all of this and boatloads more. Get your copy of the Racing Sailor today and finish your next race with the wind in your sails and your opponents to your back. Available now from vat19.com.